50 Cent had beef with. He shouldn't have beat any of it. They tried to kill 50 Cent for years.
Mama, one person in the industry that I will not fuck with is that boy 50 Cent. And his name Curtis motherfucking Jackson. Cause listen, when he on your ass, baby, he on your ass like hot grease.
He was chased out of the strip club, that's one thing. But to say there were 50's goons is another thing.
Men that 50 Cent to deal with it. Who knows? It could have been 50.
This feud has been brewing for decades, and it just took another explosive turn. Joe Budden recently exposed 50 Cent for allegedly trying to jump him, and now he's threatening to take legal action. What started as just another rap beef nearly escalated into a full-blown ambush, and Joe isn't holding back anymore. But 50, he's already clapping back, and he's not about to let Joe play the victim. This situation is getting messy, and the truth might be even darker than anyone expected. This drama dates back to the early 2000s, long before Twitter beefs, memes, and AI-generated chaos took over the internet. At the heart of it all were two major names, Joe Budden and 50 Cent. Polar opposites, but destined to clash. Joe was the lyrical assassin from Jersey, with industry cosigns and a sharp tongue that could cut through beats and egos alike. Meanwhile, 50. He was the certified hustler, the bulletproof boss from Queens who wasn't just rapping. He was playing chess while everyone else was stuck on checkers. By 2002, Joe had secured a major deal with Def Jam, and the industry was taking him seriously. No SoundCloud rapper energy here. He had the potential to be one of the greats. But across the bridge in Queens, 50 was rewriting the blueprint. After surviving 9 gunshots, getting blackballed, and then flipping the mixtape game into his personal empire, he became an unstoppable force. With Eminem and Dr. Dre backing him, Get Rich or Die Trying dropped and made him untouchable. But Joe was hungry, and when people started whispering that he could be a problem for 50, that was strike one. Because if there's one thing about 50 Cent, he does not like problems. The first punch in this beef, it didn't happen in a club, on a diss track, or even in a heated interview. Nah, it was thrown in print. Back in 2003, XXL magazine dropped a 50 Cent special edition. And, as if that wasn't enough of a flex, 50 was given his own column. Step your rap game up. But this wasn't just some cute little op-ed, it was 50 Cent airing out every rapper he thought was weak. And guess whose name made the list? Joe Budden. 50 straight up questioned Joe's street cred and even mocked one of his bars, calling it trash. And if you know Joe, you already know he wasn't about to let that slide. But instead of ranting in an interview, he went straight to the booth. His response? A not-so-subtle jab on DJ Clue's Bang Out, where he took shots at 50's bulletproof lifestyle and street persona. He didn't name drop, but let's be real, everyone knew who he was talking about. Fans ate it up, and for a moment, it seemed like Joe had the upper hand lyrically, but 50. He wasn't about to go bar for bar with Joe. That's rookie behavior. He knew that influence beats lyrics every time. Instead, he sent out his right-hand man, Lloyd Banks, to handle business. Banks hopped on I'm a Star and got real disrespectful, calling out Joe's lack of hits and even mocking the size of his dressing room. Banks doubled down with a freestyle on Rap City, but Joe wasn't backing down. He clapped back with Blood Pressure, this time going after Banks and The Game, who had just joined G-Unit. That was a bold move because The Game, fresh to the East Coast scene, was trying to make a name for himself under 50's wing. But now, thanks to Joe, his introduction to G-Unit came with a side of controversy. 50 wasn't having it. When he found out The Game had appeared on a mixtape alongside Joe, he called him out, and suddenly, The Game was on thin ice. Joe, meanwhile, insisted it wasn't a diss, but the damage was already done. The Game had something to prove now, and he took it to the booth, dropping a full-fledged diss called Budden. He clowned Joe's one-hit wonder status, accused him of being broke, and even mocked him for not wearing jewelry at the NBA All-Star Game. Joe, of course, wasn't letting that slide. His response? Game over. He called out The Game for having no identity, accused Lloyd Banks of stealing Fabulous style, and even mocked The Game's loyalty to 50. By this point, it was an all-out war. The Game fired back with 200 bars and runnin', spitting for 10 minutes straight and accusing Joe of snitching. Joe clapped back even harder with an even longer diss track, going after 50, Banks, Buck, and Yayo, questioning their street credibility, and calling out 50 for making fun of Ja Rule for singing, only to turn around and do the same thing himself. Joe kept dropping diss tracks, even taking shots at Banks for allegedly losing unreleased music when a girl he hooked up with leaked his CD. And then, things nearly got physical. Joe claimed that 50 and his G-Unit crew tried to jump him at none other than Hot 97, the go-to spot for rap drama and legendary run-ins. But as time passed, priorities shifted. In 2008, The Game and Joe squashed their beef, even linking up to perform together in New York. For a while, things seemed cool, until The Game reignited the drama in 2019 by claiming he had slept with Joe's ex, Son Santana. As for Lloyd Banks, he and Joe actually ended up collaborating. Banks even appeared on Joe Budden's podcast in 2022. But 50? That's a different story. In 2009, Joe's ex, Tahiri, popped up in pictures with 50, looking real cozy. Joe played it cool, but later admitted the whole thing nearly made him throw up. By 2015, though, things had mellowed out, and Joe even said he'd be open to working with G-Unit. But 50 being 50, he stirred the pot on Twitter, accusing Joe of sneak dissing him. Joe clapped back, and 50 eventually realized he overreacted, trying to play it off like a joke. And look, Menace 50 Cent's career is legendary, and even Joe had to give him his flowers at one point. But now, this feud just got reignited in the worst way possible. And if history tells us anything, neither of these two is about to back down.
Cent had the greatest run that I've ever seen in my entire life, and that will probably remain the same. That answer will never change.
But broke it down like this. 50 Cent was a walking target for years, and the business actually attempted to keep him out of the spotlight. He should never have made it out. The man was shot 9 times and blackballed, but he managed to bounce back from the street with real-life contracts on his head.
Very aware of all the people that 50 Cent had beef with. He shouldn't have beat any of it. They tried to kill 50 Cent for years. He should have died. He did not. He then had to deal with real live street beef with being blackballed. He shouldn't have beat that. He shouldn't have beat both of those things. He was on the greatest mixtape run that I had ever witnessed. Then he signs with M. Dre, they put out In the Club. It never went off. Never saw nothing like that. He delivered. Album, classic, million. Like, I have never seen a nigga do what 50 was able to do and accomplish, and what he had to endure on his way. You're not gonna beat it.
After seeing the clip, 50 Cent had no choice but to respond. He said, "I just saw this. The wildest part is, it's true. I had beef with 3 different guys who had real influence, real gangsters with crews full of killers running around causing havoc. I don't know, man. I just get mad and say, them ninjas? Lol. We all gotta go someday." What's crazy is that despite Joe Budden showing love for a brief moment, their beef never truly died down. Then in 2018, Joe did the unthinkable. He claimed he was better than Eminem. That's right. He straight up said that for the past decade, his skills had surpassed Slim Shady's. Now if there's one thing 50 Cent doesn't play about, it's Eminem. He immediately clowned Joe for quitting rap and becoming a full-time podcaster. 50 even went as far as saying Joe had an ass-whooping coming his way. Fast forward to 2024, and things got even messier. This time, Joe Budden took another jab at 50, questioning his mental state. And instead of proving Joe wrong, 50 spent a whole week proving him absolutely right. It all started earlier this year after the Death of Murder Incorporated founder Irv Gotti. Never one for sympathy when it comes to old enemies, 50 posted a picture of himself smoking hookah with the caption, "Smoking on that Gotti pack." If you know anything about their history, you already know that was straight up ruthless. The feud between 50 Cent and Irv Gotti was one of the most infamous rap beefs of the early 2000s, and apparently, not even death was enough to put it to rest. But Joe Budden wasn't feeling the disrespect. He called 50 out, saying it was time to let go of the past. Then, on his podcast, Joe went even further, suggesting that 50 should consider therapy, especially given his habit of taking social media beef to new extremes.
If I dish you on the record,
because hip-hop is the new meaning for I need therapy.
True.
My thing is Kanye West needs therapy. 50 Cent needs therapy. I don't care if you agree with the rationale.
Yeah.
And 50-50, he gonna stand in it. He gonna stand strong.
All 50 Cent needed to hear. He wasted no time and went straight to Instagram, unleashing his signature trolling. He posted a series of AI-generated images of Joe Budden walking around half naked, mocking him relentlessly. In one post, 50 captioned, "Joe, what the hell you doing over there naked? How you open the damn door if you sleep, fool? And if you fell, try again, perv." In another, he wrote, "Joe, where the hell you going? The Diamond Club in the Bronx? You shot that at asterisk out. Boy, asterisk asterisk." But then came the finishing blow. 50 went all in, saying, "Joe, I'ma ask you one last time. The asterisk is wrong with you, pump? You scaring the kids, asterisk asterisk." This wasn't just random clowning. Minus 50 was directly referencing Joe Budden's January 2024 arrest, when he was caught outside his neighbor's house wearing nothing but his underwear. The charges were eventually dropped. But that didn't matter. Minus 50 wasn't about to let a good roast go to waste. He even doubled down, saying, "Stay out my business, Joe. Talking about I need therapy? Nah, you need to stop walking around naked. What the hell are you doing in the hallway with your balls out, pump?" And if history has taught us anything, it's that once 50 has you in his sights, he ain't letting up anytime soon.
Be on y'all's neck, on y'all's head. He be on y'all. And the crazy part about it is, don't nobody be busting back at that man 50 at all whatsoever. Last person I would ever want to beef with in the industry is that man 50 Cent. And then he say and do shit that will make you just want to fight him. And don't none of y'all be fighting him or wanting to fight him.
By day 7 of 50's relentless trolling, it was evident that he was officially in the lawyer up phase of their back and forth. Budden finally addressed 50's week-long infatuation with him after finishing playing on a recent episode of the Joe Budden podcast.
If you've been posting me for 7 days in a row, fucking what else happened? I have a problem with it, we get lawyers involved. Like, what you want me to do? Because that's illegal.
Pointed out that they could actually get illegal.
Illegal? Yeah, you can't take all these AI pics and just start. That's what Shorty is going to court for. Mm-hmm. Can't do that. But I don't have a problem with it, and I think that's going down. And that's 50, I got all the respect in the world for it. But if I get tired of it and it stops paying, then yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
If you think 50 Cent is worried, yeah, not even a little. He hopped on Instagram to clown Joe Budden, and in classic 50 fashion, he couldn't help but laugh at the idea of Joe even thinking about suing him. "So that's the plan, Joe. You gonna sue me? I think you got me confused with someone else. Matter of fact, I'ma see you face to face so you can tell me all about this therapy I supposedly need." But 50 didn't stop there. He took his feud with Budden to an even wilder level, driving in some highly questionable personal habits. In his latest round of trolling, 50 posted a clip of Budden's own girlfriend spilling some messy details, specifically about Joe always carrying around travel lube so he could, entertain himself in front of strippers and bartenders. Yeah, 50 went there, and knowing him, he's far from finished.
He uses it to jerk off. Me and two bitches play and do whatever we do while he watches us and does his thing. That's what he uses it for. Or this is where the trauma comes in. In the past, okay, Joe has taken his travel lube with him to get dances and jerk off with other women on his own behind my back. So now I find the lube in the trunk, in the money bag, which normally these bitches are strippers or bartenders, so that's the thing. Why the fuck is the lube in the trunk when I put it away and I have not been here for a month and a half? You wasn't getting no dances with me. 2 + 2 is 4. So again.
50 actually said in the caption, "Dan Joe, you might need therapy. I mean, travel lube, what the freak, then you end up in the hall naked lol." Then, in an attempt to maintain their feud, 50 created another outrageous Joe incident. And this time, it's beyond. Unkempt, yes, you read correctly. He republished an old footage from the Joe Budden podcast in which Joe admitted to stroking his dog's privates.
I make the dog feel good by playing with their fucking privates. They like that.
Stop raping my dog.
That's how I know that he's not a real animal lover.
Because I don't play with my pets.
Anybody with a pet, come on, you did a little something down there, man, made your dog feel good.
E50 never wants to pass up a chance to engage in trolling. Went all out with his Instagram caption, "Wait a minute, Joe. Something is wrong. You need therapy. You need travel lube and sleepwalk naked outside of your home. You touch your pet sexually so often. Sign up as a sexual offender." If this sounds familiar, it's because the internet went totally crazy over it back in 2019. Here's what Joe had to say about the dog and Sin Santana's response to the phone call leak on Instagram Live.
I'm not here to talk to the people that believe I dogs. I'm not here to talk to the people that believe I abused the very women that I have taken care of. It's just not who I am. It's not who I've been.
Now that 50 has brought it back into the public eye, people are beginning to look into Budden's past more, which is how his previous strip club drama emerged in 2014. At the same time, he was accused of hitting an ex-girlfriend, which resulted in an arrest warrant, and there were rumors that he was being hunted. The internet intern had questions about what exactly happened at Mermaids, why was Budden in such a hurry, and other things after 50 posted out of a New York strip club, why you just left out a mermaid so quickly, Joe. It's getting spooky right along with a very dubious shirtless pic of Budden. Most importantly, why does Budden have a distinct account of events, whereas 50 always has a picture ready to shame someone? Earlier this week, Budden acknowledged that, after almost reaching 50, he quit Mermaids as quickly as possible.
Thank God Mermaid was this week that night. I was just in and out on the humbug. I didn't even know he was on the way. You got me fast to get me though. That was my third, fourth stop for the night. And I'm 44. I ain't just gonna be outside at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I'm going home. Thank God. Oh, shit. Jeez. It's the line. Shut up, Joe Budden. That's it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm shutting up. I might talk to the rest of you.
If there's one thing that 50 thrives on, it's making people appear weak. Thus, this only made Budden look like he ran from the smoke. If you thought 50 was only interested in Budden, think again. He's also been involved in feuds on social media with. At this pace, 50 might be at odds with half the industry by next week. But for now, Budden is his primary target, and Joe might want to start keeping an eye on his back after that close call at the strip club. Big Meech and Lil Meech joined forces with his old enemy Rick Ross. On the Adam and Wack Show podcast, Wack 100 and Adam 22 discussed this issue in great detail as well. They both felt that Joe probably need to start acting a little more sensibly.
When he was chased out of the strip club, that's one thing. But to say there were 50's goons is another thing.
Men that 50 Cent to deal with it. Who knows? It could have been 50 himself on the way.
Listen, he might know him. Know what I'm saying? That don't make him his goons. What are y'all trying to do? Build a case on 50?
I mean, it feels like 50 kind of acknowledged it. Joe kind of acknowledged it. It doesn't really feel like we're doing much to...
Anyway, they see it. This beef isn't just social media banter anymore, and Gutman should probably hire some armed security just to be safe.
I think Joe Budden needs to have personal armed security with him at any given time. There should not be an option that somebody can just show up to a club and chase you out.
Joe's not going to do that.
Keep security with him? I mean, I know he has security at least some of the time. I
don't believe Joe moves around with security.
I've seen videos of him moving around with security.
I've seen Joe. They got videos of Joe out eating with his chick, people walking up.
No, that's true too. And when I went to do his podcast, it was like regular ass apartment in Queens, and it was just the basement, and there was no security. They were acting like they weren't famous.
Yeah, I think Joe was like, oh, whatever. It's going to be what it's going to be. Can he summon security? Definitely can. Why he's not? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get away from that element and keep it out of his.
He was also making fun of me for having security when I was in New York that time.
Who was?
Joe.
Yeah, well, that's because Joe ain't. Joe should have security.
He just switched it up. Like,
he should, but he's not because he's Joe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Joe's like, do what you want.
Also clarified one point. As for the beef, it's still very much alive. Joe has been keeping it classy, even giving 50 flowers for having one of the greatest runs in rap. But 50 feeds off drama. As long as Joe's name gets clicked, the trolling won't stop. And if Joe actually takes this to court, we might be looking at the first AI trolling lawsuit in the history of hip-hop. What do you guys think? Should Joe take it to court, or is he playing himself? The moral of the story is that if you speak 50's name, he will make sure you regret it. And in the age of artificial intelligence, that remorse could just come with a viral deepfake that will haunt you forever. For even more outrageous industry drama, leave your comments below and watch the next video.